Comet.
What I've got going on right now is an ADHD nightmare. You know, attention deficit. Oh, hey, look, squirrel. So anyways, I got this cut, and, I forgot where I was going to cut it, so I cut it too long, which is better than too short. Why is it so rusty? Because I got it for free. One of my neighbors had this sitting in their backyard, and I posted online going, hey, and, yeah, they just gave it to me. So these are the brackets. You know, this'll clean up just fine. I'll clean it up where I'm going to, I don't know, I'll probably clean the whole thing and just primer it. But, yeah. No big deal cleaning that up. Let's see. So it's going, those are going to get welded on. Probably about that close to the ends. I need enough room to get the nuts on, but I want it as close to the frame rails as possible. Big problem I've got right now is the car's not at proper ride height. So I need the back end, I kind of need the back end down. So I can figure out what the ride height's going to be. I also noticed that because I've got these stupid, where the bump stops used to be, I pulled the little rubber out. I can tell exactly where the axle's supposed to be. The axle's supposed to be right freaking here. So just come straight down from that on both sides. I'm going to cut the bump stop bracket out of the center because that's just kind of in my way. And then I also got my motor mounts. So I need to put those in, but I really want to finish the rear end first, or at least, get this all. But while I'm in the front, I remembered my front is still sitting too high. You see these, these lower control arms are supposed to be parallel to the ground. So I need to trim the spring until it finally sits parallel to the ground. Maybe I'll put a little bit more weight in the front end, but yeah. I think it's going to be so stiff it's not going to matter at this point. And if it sags a little bit, that's fine by me, really. So I got to pull these front tires off, jack up the front end while the rear end's up on jack stands, get the springs out, trim them, put them back in, see if the thing will finally sit down where it's supposed to be. And just keep doing that until it does. One of the things I might even try is just put it back together with the springs out completely. Make sure these shocks are short enough to even do what I want. Who knows? They're supposed to be the right shocks, but anyways, yeah. So I got a lot going on, and I got to get it all done at the same time. So I guess I should start with front springs. Get the front end down to level, and then I can work on bringing the rear end down to level. And the reason I need the rear end down to level is that when I put these on the front of the axle, I'm gonna put the tires on, so the axle's sitting on its tires. Then I've got to figure out where to put these so that they're square to the ground when the pinion is at the right angle. And I'm just going to put it where it's supposed to be, because I can make I can adjust the transmission to be whatever it's supposed to be. So and then after that, this bottom link has to be parallel to the ground. So I've got to get everything where it's going to be, get the body down to where it's going to be, get the axle sitting on the tires, and they should tuck in just fine, although it might run into these. We'll see. Yeah, because this is in the wheel well, which is just stupid. But yeah, this axle I measured it. From flange to flange, it is exactly the same as the axle that came out of here. So I could have done with an inch wider because the offset on these newer style rims, but we'll figure something out. Like I said, spacers or something, or I'll just have to get different rims with a very different offset in the back than in the front. Let's see. Yeah, then I can figure out where I'm going to weld that crossbar in at. And I'm going to get some 1/4-inch flat stock that I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut a 2-inch square hole in the flat stock. So the flat stock will get welded around this, and then I'll weld the flat stock in along the frame rail, so I get some more. Because really, all of the horsepower is going to push into this 2-inch square, nice and thick 2-inch square, and this needs to be attached to the car super well so that 400 or 500 horsepower can push the car forward and not just tear itself out from under the car. So anyways, Squirrel. All right, I already trimmed the spring on this side, so we're gonna do this side, and I want to show you what we've got right now. Okay, we are off that jack stand. See how this bar is pointing at an angle to the ground? We're gonna fix that by shortening the spring. All right, this is the spring, and last time I made a guess to just cut it right 2 coils down, and that was exactly right, so that's what I'm gonna do again. All right, shortened spring is in. It may make some popping as it gets pressed up into place for the first time. Can already see the angle is better, and just wait for it to come up off the jack stand. There we go, and there we go. Maybe it's a little bit compressed more than it should be, but I'm okay with that. It's just about perfect. Certainly better than it was. And yeah, the car's gonna sit low now. Cool. And I actually got to bring that back out some to get the angle just right. I pulled it way in to get it where it needed to be at the previous height. But we'll just go with it for here. Deal with it later. Well, here we are. Kind of looks like I could have cut some more. Driver's side one, a couple of degrees from level. Passenger side one's worse. But there's more engine to put on top, so I'm not going to overdo it right now. We'll call that close enough. It's certainly better and lower than it was before. Yeah. So, now I need to drop the rear end. Yeah, that's some wheel tuck, all right. I need to, that fender may need some flaring. It's, maybe that's why this one's up still. And on the driver's side. Oh yeah, she's tucked. Yeah, that's probably why that one's sitting higher. This wheel is just too darn large. Honestly, I need some 30 series to get these to tuck. Ooh. Yeah. Honestly, could have done with scooting the axle back another inch, but this is where it was, so this is where it's supposed to be. It's just this tire is huge. These are fine for the back, but not so much for the front. Oh yeah. Yep. Cool. And like I said, this is still leaning outward. I could probably pull it in some more. I don't know. Anyways. So check this out. I already got the front end all the way down. The back end's jacked way up, as high as it was. And the tire doesn't fit inside the fender well. I'm going to have to finagle it in there. Whew, they're going to be tucking way up there. Okay, yeah, the fender goes up to here. Way up in here, so no problem. All right, tires are bolted to it. I got plenty of room on the outside, as I suspected. And those bump stops have got to go. And those fenders are probably going to have to be extended inward. But they make kits for that, so that won't be too hard to do. Same on this side. It couldn't hurt to put a 1/4 inch spacer on each side at the very least. I'd really like a 1/2 inch on each side. That'll center them up in that wheel well. Probably won't have to trim the buckets at all, really. Yeah, tubs, whatever you want to call them. Tubs, buckets. But yeah, I need to lift the car. Well, I need to take tires back off. I need to get in there and just slice and dice that stupid bump mount thing completely out of there. And then I can see if I can lower the car and get those tires to both fit up into the arches. If not, I'll run to the auto parts store and just buy some 1/4 inch spacers, which is probably all I need right now. Or I'll just buy 2 sets and make it 1/2 inch. She's narrower, she's fitting now. I took that much material out of the wheel wells on the inside. So now I've got pretty good clearance on each side, even without spacers. It'll probably run into that upper spot, so anyways, I still need to put some tubs in there if I run it like this. Spacers. Anyways, I'm gonna try and get this back end to come down. Catch my breath. We're still too high in the back, but this is as low as my jack stands in that position can go. But if I move them back here, I can probably get more depth. Dang, you guys gotta see this. Still touch high in the back, which is kind of how I want it. See, we got a little bit of rake. Well, maybe you can't see. But anyways, look at that tuck. Oh, buddy. That tuck. That's a tuck to die for. Ooh, she's a tuckin'. Yeah. Let's look up the back. Obviously, the rear end's not mounted, so the yoke is pointing down at the ground. But she's gonna fit. Yeah, buddy. The jack is not touching the car. It's sitting on these jack stands back here, which put it at about the right height for what I want. So now I can start mocking up those 4-link bits. That's gonna be really cool. I wonder if I'm going to have to take out those cross beams there, if they're going to hit the 4-link or not. This is not minimum height. This is right height. Yeesh. Oh, yeah. Let's take this off telephoto. There we go. So, that's some rake. I don't have my tape measure handy, or we'd measure that. But I'd say there's at least 1.5 inches, maybe even 2 inches of rake. That's insane. Cool. I like it. Tucky tucky. This fender is literally sitting on this tire right here. So, I'm going to have to deal with that at some point. Yeah, I wish it had been, another inch back, but too late for that. We'll go with what we got.